special guest here today with us, and we have a very special partnership to celebrate today. By the way, I'm Hassan Chaudhary. I'm the chair of Mechanical Engineering Department. I also direct the UTEP NASA Research Center. I would like to specially thank some of the distinguished university leadership present here today. Our Vice President of Research, Roberto Segeda, our Provost, Howard Dodestall, and our Interim Dean of College of Engineering, Dr. Carlos Ferrygood. I do have other distinguished guests, and our President will introduce them. I sincerely appreciate all the media, faculty, and all my students here who are joining us. Some of our students are joining us through the live stream, so good afternoon, all of you. Throughout the last decade, we have been working relentlessly to develop an aerospace and defense research program, which include a lot of K-12 activities as well, to secure abundant extramural funding and to engineer strategic partnership with the one thing in mind, that more students from our zip codes could pursue engineering and have a clear path to social mobility. Our vision for the program anchors on a simple, very, very simple core. That is, we exist for students. We must ascend to become one of the most preeminent programs in the nation so that dreams can be reached, pride in our work grown, and opportunities created for every child growing up in El Paso neighborhood. And you saw 250 of them showed up yesterday. We must build an ecosystem to ensure economic prosperity of reason. To us, incremental progress is not an option. We must take a giant leap forward to fulfill the aspiration of our community. The time is now, and Mr. Tori Bruno's visit clearly signals that we are making serious progress. Currently, CSETR, Center for Space Exploration and Technology Research, and WMKX Center for 3D Innovation is developing many, many different technologies. We are working on many projects. However, 3 projects we are working on will eventually end up in orbit. So I thought that I will give you some updates on what we're working on. So the Daedalus project is a suborbital payload-scale methane propulsion testbed. It will be launched from Waldorf facility sometimes in 2020 or 21 to test integrated propulsion and power using methane as a singular fluid. The testbed will also demonstrate a lot of additive manufacturing capability and printing enter rocket using 3D printing. Many of the hardwares are already been developed, and we are currently testing the engines. The engine test campaign will start our new Fabens facility sometimes this summer. We also have a partnership with the Japanese university, QTech partnership, to develop another suborbital vehicle to test our main engine. Right now, we are testing, next month, we'll be testing some low altitude flights out of Mojave. And we plan to bring some of the flight test program to Fabens once our Fabens facility is fully completed. We have a third project, and we will hear about that today. We have abundant talents in our zip codes. And with opportunities, they can do amazing things. The CSETR alone actually trained over 250 students over the last 4 years. And our graduates are highly, highly sought after. They make a lot of money once they graduate, and I can see their face. I know you guys will make a lot of money, so I'm very happy about that. All those things happen because there's a singular person, there's a singular vision behind this university, and a vision from a person that changed everything in this community. And I really don't have to introduce her much, okay? Only thing I want to tell her that she is the 100th most influential person in the world, and the title is given by Time magazine. This is our president, Dr. Diana Natalisio.
Well, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you very much for joining us on this beautiful day in El Paso and on the University of Texas at El Paso campus. We're delighted to celebrate with our very special guests, and let me acknowledge a couple of other people who are with us today who have been so supportive of the work that we do. First of all, Mr. Woody Hunt, who is a great friend of the university, an astonishingly generous supporter of higher education, of education generally, who gives not only of his financial resources, but also of his time and expertise. And Woody, we thank you for everything that you do. Mr. Joe Wardy, who is CEO, I guess, of Hub for Human Innovation, right? And that is an organization that is committed to help develop El Paso along economic lines and doing a lot of work with the university, and we appreciate the support that you've provided us. As many of you know, Joe Wardy is a former mayor of El Paso, and Joe, we greatly appreciate everything you do. Ben Gonzalez, who is Vice President for Institutional Advancement and Development at UTEP, thank you very much for being here. And Cynthia Cano, who is here representing Congressman Beto O'Rourke. Thank you, Cynthia, for joining us. We are here to welcome a very, very special guest to UTEP. His name is Salvatore T. Bruno. He is the president and CEO of United Launch Alliance, the nation's most experienced and reliable launch service provider. United Launch Alliance has successfully delivered more than 110 satellites to orbit. These satellites enable personal device-based GPS navigation, provide critical capabilities for troops in the field, aid meteorologists in tracking severe weather, and advance scientific knowledge. Mr. Bruno is a lifelong rocket enthusiast who, along with the entire ULA team, encourages hands-on science, technology, engineering, and math experience to motivate, educate, and develop the next generation of rocket scientists and space entrepreneurs. At 1 o'clock today, as a guest speaker in our Centennial Lecture Series, Mr. Bruno will discuss the future of the space launch industry, but he joins us now for an exciting announcement. And having had the pleasure of talking with him over lunch, I have to say that his own personal story is very exciting to me because in many ways it reflects the story of so many of the students on our campus. And so we are delighted that you took time to be with us. It's a very, very special pleasure for me to introduce Salvatore or Tori Bruno. Mr. Bruno.
Well, good afternoon. Before I start, I want to take a moment and just acknowledge the tremendous work that you are doing here, Dr. Nalicio and Shaduri, here at UTEP in bringing access to higher education, your commitment to STEM, your outreach in K through 12. Higher education is the most powerful force in social and economic mobility. You are doing God's work here, and I thank you. So I do have an announcement, and it's kind of exciting, it's kind of fun. Before I make that announcement, I'd like to give you a little bit of background. Not too long ago, I made another announcement about a program that we started at ULA now called Cube Corps, where we are applying CubeSat carriers to our Atlas rockets. And eventually, every Atlas and every Vulcan rocket will take CubeSats to space. And we are doing that because I am personally convinced that small satellites and microsatellites will be the next revolution in space. There will be economic activities there that we cannot even imagine today. Low Earth orbit will become the app store of space. And CubeSats are the gateway to that. And so, in each one of those carriers, we have reserved slots for free CubeSat rides for universities, because that activity is really key. That research that comes from places like UTEP to developing that technology and really opening the door for the entrepreneurship that will follow. And so, to that end, we decided to have a national contest for the first 4 free rides to space for universities. And we collected many, many proposals. And we selected the top 4. And I will tell you that these proposals, the 4 and many others, were just truly outstanding. But one in particular stood out from the entire crowd and impressed us to a great deal. Now, we looked at these through the lens of really 3 very important criteria. First, the mission that the CubeSat would execute. How important is that mission? Also, the ingenuity of the technical solution, but also, and just as important, the element of K through 12 STEM outreach that was embodied in that program. And you might guess that the one that stood out from all the others and is absolutely the first prize, first place winner in this very first national competition for the best university CubeSat programs that can be found was where? The envelope, please. UTEP. Dr. Natalicio, if I could invite you back, please. So there's trophies and there's Oscar statues, but for us, there's a rocket model. This is the Atlas rocket. I thought about taking the actual rocket that you would ride later this year, maybe loaning it to you for a couple of months. You could put it on the front lawn. But it's 22 stories high. And so I've only brought you a model, but I hope that'll do.
So nice. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And so with that, I would thank you for coming out and congratulate the team on just truly an outstanding effort. I got to sit in part of their PDR today. I want to thank Lockheed Martin and the NRO for coming out to support them as well. I could not be more impressed, not only with their proposal, but with the progress they have made. And you need to hurry up because we're going to be taking you to space very soon. Thank you.
Again, great news. So proud of my kids, okay? It's a good job, okay? And now we just have to make sure that all of them will end up in Lockheed Martin, right? So this actually concludes our press conference. We'll be available for one-on-one interviews here. And also we invite you to hear more from Mr. Bruno during our centennial lecture. It's 1 p.m. and it's the Thomas Riveria Conference Center. It's Union Building East, room 308. That event will be also live streamed. So once again, thank you so much for coming, okay? We truly appreciate that. Thank you.